What's going on, team? It's another morning here, ready to get into this market. We got Johnson & Johnson talking about paying an $8.9 billion settlement. We got C3AI down big on Tuesday. You guys saw that. FedEx announcing a 10% dividend increase. General Motors pulling into second place in the EV race. We got Gordon Johnson today to talk all about that action there. We'll get into some ratings. UBS double upgrades on a bank. We'll talk a little bit about that. And Google says their AI supercomputer is faster, greener than NVIDIA. We'll talk all about that, and Walmart reiterating some guidance there. We got a lot to talk about. Of course, you're at the best place to be, the number one place to start your pre-market prep. It's time to rise and shine, team. Let's get it started. Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's pre-market prep with your hosts, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I'd buy that stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day. Guess what? Joel is going to be out for just a few minutes. He'll be joining us in just a few seconds. So I get to bring on Dennis Dick right off the hop and take
holy cow, what's going on?
To the markets. Yes,
Man,
I don't do the rundown as good, so we'll wait for the rundown for Joel. But we'll just start taking a look at the SPY. We'll talk about the action from yesterday and if anything caught your attention, any particular sectors, industry moves caught your eye, Dennis?
Yeah, lots caught my eye yesterday and lots catching my eye here this morning. We have a lot of news here, and it's not all Trump news. If you watch CNBC, you think it's only Trump. That's the only thing that happened yesterday. But we had to alert CNBC that there was actually other headlines there breaking because they were missing Johnson & Johnson. They were missing the what was the other one? I had it written down here. They're missing the Walmart warning. They're missing it all. But we got it. We got it.
Of course, we're ready to go, team. We're always ready and always catching the rotations and wicked moves out there. I know that you caught one that I thought was also interesting, which was in the steel and some of the oil plays. It seemed like there was some wicked turnaround in those. Let's talk a little bit about those names. One of the ones being, of course, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Valero and these oil names after, of course, getting that big pop from the OPEC cut. Now you're seeing them get hit right back down to support. What do you think about these moves, Dennis?
Interesting, because the refiners sometimes can move opposite to major oil because they're obviously, taking the oil, refining it, making gasoline. So it's actually an input for them. So sometimes, you can see they trade with oil stocks, but at other times they actually don't. So yesterday, for whatever reason, they decided to pull the rug out from underneath all of the refiners, all three of the big names. So you can go Valero, MPC, and then the third one. Wow, it's early in the morning. I trade these things all the time. Who's the third one? MPC, Valero, and oh my gosh.
You ready? You ready? I'll give you a hint. It starts with a P.
P, yeah, there you go. So
PSX, of course,
66.
Phillips.
You know it's early in the morning when I actually pair trade these things, and I just couldn't spit it out. It was on my tongue.
That's how
all these things getting hit hard yesterday, and wow, Valero climbing basically, and I'm having problems. I'm in a bad thunderstorm here, so if I lose you, it will only be for about a minute because I do have a generator, but it takes 10 seconds for the generator to kick in. And then obviously I'll be back. But I've been in a bad thunderstorm here. Power just clicked out, but I think I'm still with you.
Still with us. Still with us. No worries.
So Valero, 121 to 141 over the course of the last week and a half. So climbing, not even over the course of the last 3 weeks. 3-week climb. Gives 2/3 of it back in 1 day. This is the signs of not a bull market, folks. Nucor climbing for the last 2.5 weeks. Gives almost the entire move back in 1 day. So
Yeah.
quietly, you can look at the market and say, oh, things held up pretty well. Let's look at the cyclicals. If you lift up the hood and look underneath there was some ugly moves yesterday.
Steel moving right back down. This is my industry outlook here. So this is steel overall for me. And you can see how that just really took a downturn. Lumber doesn't look good, right? In basic materials. Building materials also turning around. We're seeing the REITs get hit as of late. Aluminum also down towards the low, right? Copper is the only thing that I can see in basic materials that's a little bit higher. But if you look around, coal has been turning around. Paper products are not looking good. Even the metals, they're like kind of hanging in there. I've been kind of watching to see if the lithium names could get some lift, but not going anywhere really. And I think that this is an important outlook to see. The only thing that I see moving in basic material is, of course, the gold trade, baby. And that's remaining strong there. Really strong day yesterday. Don't know if you guys caught that, but GOLD, really nice day there.
All signs of not a bull market. When gold starts blasting off, and we talked about the pullback in gold a few days ago, saying if we start to get ugly again, this pullback is going to be a buying opportunity, and it absolutely was. And now we see gold breaking out to new highs here again. Silver as well. All of these are little tells that, hey, there's still some trouble ahead. TLT showing some strength. Last couple of days finally showing some strength. My buddy Artie will be liking that because he's long a whole pile of TLT. I mean,
this is a nice setup.
That's a defense trade. TLT, gold, silver, and then seeing cyclicals roll over. That's signs that, hey, maybe there's still a recession coming. Now, there's good news stories here today. We've given you all the bad news. That was from yesterday. Today, we have a lot of good news stories here.
Yep. We're going to get into it now.
Story broke right after 4 o'clock, and that was Johnson & Johnson. Mitch, give us the details.
All right, let's go to it. I'm pretty sure Joel is ready. Joel, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Don't know. That was a
Keep going.
Yeah, he's ready.
I give a thumbs up.
I got you, Joel. Sorry, Joel. I just couldn't see it there. You were on the side screen there, but I got you. We'll go to Johnson & Johnson. Joel's with us now. So Johnson & Johnson said it would pay an $8.9 billion settlement over claims of its talc-based baby powder caused cancer. The company ended sales of the powder as it faced thousands of lawsuits over the alleged health hazard, and definitely getting a big lift off of this. This would be paid over 25 years. Some people are saying this is the delay, but of course the settlement would kind of ease the worries here about how much they would be settling over. So Johnson & Johnson getting a nice lift in the pre-market.
Big time. And Joel, your point actually, well, my point, we'll save Joel's point. My point was 4 or 5 days ago, I was talking about this 150 in J&J and just saying P's come down, starting to get reasonable. We did say there's litigation issues here, which is weighing on the stock. So all of a sudden, the weight of those litigations is lifted here. Still paying pretty big amount here, but I guess the market likes the clarity. They like to know what the bill is going to be. It sounds like, we can look past this thing now. This was a major weight on the stock. So, and you know what? Market playing defense. There isn't a lot of stocks that are better at defense than J&J. Joel, what are your thoughts here?
My thoughts are, does anybody know an emergency plumber in the area?
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yes.
You got some water problems?
Well, there's no water. There's no immediate, but so we're having 20 people over for Passover Seder.
Okay.
And Lisa made some potatoes, and she basically destroyed our garbage disposal.
Oh.
So we have no sink and 2 sinks full of water. And I just called 3 different plumbers, and none of them can come out today.
Uh-oh. You can bypass it.
20 people coming over.
Who's a plumber in Detroit? I know you're listening out there right now.
If I was around, I'd come. I could do it.
No, really? Are you that handy?
Yeah, I think
Come on, Dennis got that all day. Come on, that's Dennis Dick we're talking about here.
Take the carburetor out, throw it in the garbage, and then put
Dennis
on.
Dick.
Put the other pipe
I don't know
into
what
place.
I'm gonna do.
Pipe. It's just like
Come on,
it's
man.
like Legos, Bing.
Come on, that's Dennis Dick right
Rip
here.
it
You
out,
got
man.
this.
You do that stuff, man. No
if
way.
it's broken, if the carburetor's broken, just rip it right out of there. If it's not broken, maybe you want to fix it, but
Just rip it right out of there, bro.
They're hard. When those carburetors go, I know I've had them before. They usually are hard to fix. So
Well,
is it just humming, not doing nothing, or it's all just?
Lombardo says if I pay for a private plane, he'll be there by the afternoon. Okay, well,
all right,
there you go.
Well,
we need somebody local. There's got to be somebody in the D that knows how to plumb.
Don't buy AI
everyone's
stocks.
busy. There's been a lot of rain here and flooding, and people are having problems. But anyways, what a nice run here. No one had any idea about this in Johnson & Johnson case being settled. This is a big move for Johnson & Johnson. Yeah, up straight up to, of course, you had the market. There was a rotation. 164.41 is that pre-market high. You got a couple highs in the, wow, that's under 165, 160. I'm just going to go with a lot of stock in the book trick. It's going to happen. I mean, if you're buying this on the open at 163 or whatever, you better hope for an immediate bounce, because you're going to have to find buyers to fulfill all those orders, those sell orders off the open. Then you're going to need to find more buyers after the open to get to the pre-market high. So I'll use that pre-market high. It's just a beautiful number on the upside, 164.5 to 165. I don't think we're going to get there. Way down the top of yesterday's range. I don't know. I doubt we'll see that in case the market crashes. 158.97. But man, I'm not going to be, someone help fulfilling all those different orders. 159, 159.5. Can you see anything, Dennis? 160, 160.5, 161. Can you see that or not?
Yeah, but you got to consider one thing. Like, you see a lot of stuff in the books when stocks are making new highs. We were here 3-4 weeks ago. So, and again, we've traded a lot of volume up here. So I know it's hard, to see Johnson & Johnson up 4 or 5, you think automatically sell. But one thing to consider is that this has been weighing on the stock. It's a major reason the stock has majorly underperformed the other consumer staples. So, and Johnson & Johnson, is a consumer staple. It's also drugs. So it's got the mix of both of them. But I do think this is a buy on pullback. So I don't want to chase anything up $4.
Correct.
I just, I don't want to short it here either. I don't want to say, yeah, it's up 4, it's going to come right back in, because this was something that was really weighing on the stock.
I think it's going to struggle to open over 163, and maybe even 162. That's just my take.
Yeah, and it may.
Yeah.
But that may be a buying opportunity as well.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So that was the major headline that broke right after the bell. And like, again, if you were watching CNBC, you wouldn't know that because they all only covered Trump for the first hour. But, here we are. We were trying to help them out and sending them tweets and trying to get them to obviously cover other stocks. The other major headline, which broke right after J&J, was Walmart. And
before we get to Walmart, I just want to make sure we are going to get ADP number 815 here coming in. So let me go ahead and give that
Thanks for the
outlook.
warning.
I was trying.
Sold.
I got to interrupt you guys sometimes. All right.
No,
so
I do appreciate it, because I was wondering why we were chopping around. So
210.
throw these 815 numbers out as when pay attention.
Yeah, we're looking for 210,000 here. We got here. I had an estimate also on Benzinga 200,000. We got 145,000 versus 200,000 on the non-farm employee change. That's ADP. We'll see how this affects. I've honestly gotten to the point where I don't know. Good news is good news. Bad news is bad news. I can tell you that. At least
just need to look at the price. It's bad.
That's
news.
That's it, right, Joel?
Right? Yeah,
that's it, right? I mean, let's just keep it like that. Market getting a little bit of a tick down here. We'll see if we take out kind of some lows. What are some levels you'll be looking at, Joel?
Just yesterday's low is the only thing we got here. Between that and 3,500.
We've just come too far too fast, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think so too.
We're in this environment, and it's not like the bulls are in control, the bears are in control. I've been arguing this for a long while, and I've been correct. We're in a sideways market, man. We're in a sideways market on the S&P. We're in a sideways market on the Dow.
Better start going down for that.
We're kind of in a down market on the IWM. And the other thing to consider is look at the bloody banks, and they are bloody. Yes. The KRE is almost at the lows, man. I don't care that, we've got certain stocks in bull markets. I know if banks continue to go down the way they're going down and start to go down again, the entire market eventually rolls over with it. Why? Because banks still run the economy. We still need to be able to borrow money to be able to do certain things. And if credit gets tighter because of the banking crisis, that's a problem. So there is this, I believe, really, truly believe that this rally in the last week and a half was a gift. Again, I think tech is going to outperform, so I still don't mind those stocks relative, but I'm still sticking with a lot of cash for the simple reason is that I see the KRE sitting down here trying to make new lows. I see Bank of America. I see JP Morgan, having rough days yesterday. I see all the cyclicals. Before Joel got on, we were talking about the moves in Nucor and in U.S. Steel and in MPC and Valero. I mean, stocks losing 7-8% on no news yesterday, just losing their entire 3 weeks of gains, some of them. It's tough, man. It's tough to just say, yeah, we're past it all. When the KRE starts rallying to 45, 46 bucks, starts breaking out, and we start seeing FRC start running back to 15, 18, 20, I'm going to feel a lot better about buying stocks. Yeah. I don't feel that great right now about buying stocks.
No, we definitely just going to the looking at the SPY here. I mean, it's just another rally. You were thinking maybe 4,200. Well, for the S&P, I go to the S&P. That's better. You were thinking, man, maybe get back to those February highs, but so far the market's turned. It's still early in the week. We only got two. This is going to be a weird week, man, because of this is a synthetic Thursday, right? And then they're going to do the jobs number on Friday, and the market's only going to be, I guess someone said the future's only going to be open for a little bit. So, holy mackerel, if you're ever going to be hedged going overnight, Triple D, I know you always are, that number, holy mackerel. Either the Bulls or the Bears are going to have a lot of fun with that one. But support's tough to find. I've been saying that for a while. And today I'm just looking, we're down 475. I mean, we broke a 4-day winning streak yesterday. And I think right now the Bears, like they put up their dukes a little bit yesterday. But if you get another red day, I think the tide might have turned for them, at least in the short term.
I mean, they put up their dukes, but it's still the same stocks, Microsoft and Apple, and everybody, is arguing on Twitter. It's not just 8 stocks. There was other stocks that were going up as well. Sure, but if you take those 8 stocks out, the other stocks are scratching out. You had half of the S&P that was red in the first quarter. You had, some other stocks that were up. They weren't all red. If they were all red, those other 8 stocks wouldn't have made up for it. So it's not like 492 were down, 8 were up. No, 8 were up to make up for the other 492 scratching it out. So, I mean, that's still not great. The breadth hasn't been great. We have been riding Apple. We have been riding Microsoft. We've been riding Google. We've been riding Amazon. We've been riding Tesla till a couple of days ago.
Yeah,
we've been riding NVIDIA till a couple of days ago, which brings us to our next segue, is NVIDIA just put an ugly double top in. Its PE is nuts, and now apparently Google is competition.
Yeah, Google coming in here and saying that their AI supercomputer is faster, greener than NVIDIA's A100 chip. Google has designed its own custom chip called the Tensor Processing Unit, TPU. Google's TPU is now in its 4th generation. Google said that for comparable size system, its chips are up to 1.7 times faster and 1.9 times more power efficient than the system based on NVIDIA's A100 chip.
They're hitting NVIDIA on this. It's down $4.50. I don't think they like the idea of competing with Google. Obviously NVIDIA is still best of breed here. Their chips, I don't think Google's telling they're coming in and they're going to be, one of the major chip makers there, but they obviously are saying they've come out with something that seems pretty good. So I'm not a specialist in chips. I'm just a specialist in trading stocks. And I can tell you, even before this news this morning, NVIDIA putting a little double top there, was struggling. Possibly kick-started, there was a couple of commentaries on CNBC, a couple of people coming in there bearish the stock, which sometimes can move it, even more than just for a day. But, I mean, it's just run so far. It checked back to 250, I feel like is in the cards. I feel like that's not even, it's still in a huge uptrend. I mean, you'd be in the uptrend here if you just took your Jeff Mackey purple crayon, 245, 240, you're still in that, wicked uptrend just from this year. So, I mean, it's been an incredible run. The stock was $108 6 months ago. It's $269. I've never made a lot of money buying a stock up 150% in 6 months.
That is true, and definitely showing signs of weakness
Definition
yesterday.
of chasing.
Definitely. Now with that double top, will we start seeing this show up in maybe more technology as we start to get some pullback?
Let's get specific here to NVIDIA, because that's the
Please.
stock that's moving. It's down in the pre-market. Your pre-market low is not in the area of anything. Your pre-market low comes in at 268.50. So, of course, that's the one level you want to, the minor level. But I'll give you the number of the day. The number of the day is 266, because that is the next daily low that you have. If, in fact, the bears can pierce it through 266, the bears, then yet you got about an 8-point drop off. But there's going to be chop. There's going to be so won't go immediately to 258.50. But I'd be keen on 266 on the downside. And now this is pretty, after a top and a double turn on the upside. I think a lot of people would like to see a gap fill here at 273.07.
We'll see if some more tech names get hit off of this. Full disclosure, I got AMD short. I'm seeing
you were short that the other day. You shorted again?
Yeah, why not?
No, I don't know.
I can see it.
Why not? If it pays, it pays,
like this
man.
Trade, Mitch. I like this trade, and obviously Hindsight Capital's 2020. It's down $1 here today, but I like the AMD 100 level, because this was just levels have memory. And we go to the Joel Elconin Book of Levels. 100 is absolutely enormous for this. This is in October of 2021 where it bottomed and had the big run up to 160. Then it came all the way back down there in January and bounced right off the 100. Then eventually it did breach it in April 2022. And, it chopped around there for a bit, tried to get back up in July, failed again. Then it's had the big move down in October to 54. Now it almost did a double right to that pesky $100 level here again. So resistance is resistance until it's broken and held. We know we broke it, but we have not held it at all. So I actually like your short off the 100 level. What's your target?
So the idea here is if we could break through this support here, we could head down towards that kind of 93 area. And I could see us going into that area. So that would be the profit target here. And it's going to be really all about, if it recovers 95 today, it could recover. So I'll be watching that towards the gate to see if we get some more flush down.
That's 8 cents away. Good call. You got a pair of lows at 92.90 and 93.64. So that's, but I mean, it's two levels are not super close to each other. But if they really want to take this thing out to the woodshed today, you could see $90, even though the next daily low is at 89.02. But yeah, you could definitely get a bounce at that 92.9. It's only $1 away, right? How long you go into pre-market? And this is one of those charts, Dennis, in the sometimes you see like that flush low, and then it's like, you see the 15-minute charts just kind of like, the buyer's like, oh, I missed the low.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like that. I mean, you do have 3 15-minute lows in that area. So if he's looking for that, look for more downside in AMD. We've been trying to get Lisa Sue on the show, and it's been tough.
Your old classmate.
No, not classmate, Dennis.
Oh, what was she?
Telling you, she was a clerk for me on the floor when I did the S&P versus the major market index. And you know what we call the major market index? We call them the missiles. Because, man, if you missed it, that thing took off. It was so thin. Nice. The missiles. They were wild. They were wild. Anyways, we're going to get around eventually, but there's NVIDIA and AMD.
We'll see what happens with those. Google is going higher, though. I know that we didn't even look at it, but it is going higher. Nice little daily setup as it starts to push a little and could keep going. I mean, we're really close to these levels to the left-hand side.
What a buy that was.
On the 90s, man. Oh, man, I'm still kicking myself on that 90.
Those 3 days it got hammered because it gave the wrong answer, because the BARD or whatever the hell it's called gave the wrong answer. Yeah. That was, one of the dumbest sell-offs. And the stock came down, put the double bottom
the stock
at
market
90,
for you.
And now it's blasted off here. So, I mean, it's, sometimes, just these headlines. Same thing with the Square. I mean, sometimes, but again, that came all the way back up. I was early on it that day. I guess you can't do it on day one. But anyways, it did come back eventually here too. I mean, sometimes, there's headlines that are continued drivers, and then there's headlines that are just one-offs. And I think in the case of obviously the short report on Square, I don't know if that's
whatever happened with that. Did the company ever come out and say anything?
I think they just deny this, like whatever, and I don't even know what was in the short report.
Yeah,
but again, some of these, guys do fantastic research, and then but I can't comment. I don't think they're going to be right all the time. And
does anybody ever check to see if they were buying that day?
that's what I would like to know.
Is there any kind of
there should be a check on that, because here, and I'm going to go on the rant. I completely agree with you, Joel. I don't mind anybody putting out a short report. I don't mind anybody, and if regulators, you're listening here, it's something to think about. I don't mind anybody putting out a short report. I think everybody should be able to voice their opinion. And if you want to, get short the stock and put out the short report, that's fine. But I would have a very big problem if they were covering into it the next day. I'm not saying we have no idea. We don't know.
We have no idea
what they're doing. But if they were covering into it the next day, that's where I would have a very big problem, because that's just the opposite of a pump and dump. Like that's all that is. So I think they're all fine. I think these companies are all fine as long as they're not covering into it the next day. But if they're loading up short, then putting out a short report, and then the stock tanks, and then they're covering into the news that they created, that's where I would have a problem. So hopefully they're not doing that.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's an important thing that you'll see certain short reports that actually don't even put positions on. They just actually put out the report. I think that's something to look at too. But let's go to another short report that actually hits some of these stocks.
That should be cracked down on. If they, and hopefully they're not. Hopefully they're still short the stock, and it's their thesis, and it plays out for them.
Yeah,
I would hope that they're not covered already, because then I would have a serious problem with that.
And it's such an easy thing for the regulator. I just don't understand what the heck they're doing there. I mean,
we don't know. Maybe they're not doing that though. Maybe they're not covering into it. I would hope the regulator is looking at that though on these short reports. I think that's low hanging fruit.
It is.
So I would hope that they are actually looking at that. But we don't know. We'll never know. They don't have to disclose what they're doing or when they're covering or anything like that. But the regulator can certainly look into it.
Well,
so I think, and we're not accusing anyone here. I'm just saying, if that is happening, that shouldn't be allowed to happen.
You could do it in your uncle or your sister or your buddy or someone that lives across the country.
All of that should be investigated.
Yeah.
All of that should be investigated.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's fine. Put out the short report. Let the thesis play out over the course of months or even years. Cool. But if they're covering into it the next day, I think that's a serious issue. And I don't know. Again, I'm going to just clarify here. We have no idea what any of these companies are doing. We're not accusing anyone here. We're just saying, I hope that's not happening.
Yeah, I hope that's not happening, of course. We could just pull that in at least just to take a peek at AI. AI get hit yesterday with a short report. Curacell Capital. And one of the things that they disclosed about this, they said that they sent this to the artificial intelligence software auditor. And so it looks like there's some auditing issues that they're bringing up. So we'll see what happens with AI. That stock definitely got hit hard yesterday from 32 down to below 24s. So we'll see what happens with these AI stocks overall. And this is why I think we've all been raising the warning flag with these AI plays. Yes, it's hype that's driving these. And if you look underneath the hood, these companies aren't the best fundamental companies. So just be careful out there.
Well, there may be okay fundamentals. It's valuation that has always been a trouble for a lot of these plays. And I mean, this is a sudden move. Again, I would hope. Who was this firm that was put the short report out on? Kerrisdale. Like, I would hope Kerrisdale is not covering into that yesterday. And that's cool. You want to put the short report and you think it's overvalued, and I didn't read the report, but you want to short the stock, put the short report, just hold on. That's all I would say. Like, if you're covering into the next day, I would have a problem with it. So I don't think that's happening. I would hope that's not happening. Because obviously then it just feels like manipulation. But if they're holding it, thinking this thing's going back to $10 and they're holding on for that, as Dan Nathan would say, have at it.
Gene Munster, if you guys missed the special on Monday, he talked directly about this. We got an article on Benzinga talking about it, about the cycles with the hype and tech and the things that go through. So Gene made some excellent comments on that. I just put the article in there. Also in the article is a clip, so you can go and see what he said. What else he made comments on? Apple, Tesla, Google, the whole thing. So you should definitely, if you're interested in AI, you should check that out. Dennis, watch your bids here.
We're
41.21.
leaking.
Yeah, we're leaking. You know what? I don't know if we're going to see on change today. It's one of those days where that job or the jobless claims or whatever, they like that was a poor attempt at a rally here today. I think we might see get under 4,100 today if things keep going like this. We'll have to check the numbers.
All right, another major news. Let's go to FedEx as they announced a 10% dividend increase to 44 cents per share per quarter. They also hiked their quarterly dividend by 10% to $1.26 and said that Drive transformation is expected to generate $4 billion in permanent cost reductions in fiscal year 25. FedEx.
We've had some good headlines here today. Johnson & Johnson, FedEx. These are headlines that you would think, could drive the market higher here. Unfortunately, I think we just got a situation where there's a lot of weight from other sectors here today. The banks making new lows is not helping the fact. That NVIDIA news obviously not helping either with it down $5 here right now. So other things being equal, you'd think like with FedEx, we haven't even talked to the Walmart, but they took the Walmart news in stride. And Johnson & Johnson pop, and you think, maybe, this market's getting some good news here today, but does not appear to be the case, obviously, and the market's rolling over here once again.
Good news. I mean, you got to pop. I don't have anything for you here until 240 on the monthlies. If you want to hold out for that, you can drill down on your dailies and your weeklies and probably find something else. But if you're looking just for a short-term target here, 234.98. That was the initial surge high. So keep an eye on 234.98. Close that bracket at 234. So just market ain't helping it here. So we'll see. I remember this stock had good earnings a couple weeks ago, and it was a down market, and the opening tick was like bam, the high of the session. So not sure.
Some headlines, I feel like at Johnson & Johnson, it's weighed on it for so long. I feel like that could actually hold up. Might give it back some, but I feel like that's going to be a buying opportunity. This FedEx headline, I feel like is more not that exciting. A little raise in the dividend. Yeah, we're going to do something with the company's consolidation. I feel like this is a selling opportunity in FedEx.
Okay.
All right. Let's go.
So two stocks doing pretty much the same thing, popping up on their own individual headlines. But I'd rather be in the J&J than the FedEx.
We're headed towards yesterday's low at 15.25.
Let's go to an interesting one that I just saw hit the tape a little while ago. Chat calling it out also. Like always, appreciate you guys. Palantir Technologies trading higher after the company announced an expansion of its partnership with Microsoft.
Well, that's always a big name. When you get a small company and they get to talk to a big name like Microsoft, it always gets a pop.
Yeah,
so
that's a good.
And you know what? Consolidation station for Palantir, really? This 8 to 825, 835 areas. Now you break out from that. Tough day to have this news on because we're starting to leak, and we started to leak yesterday in the markets. But getting a pop, I'm not surprised it's popping.
Yeah, and it's one little different pre-market chart, right? Because you're holding up near the highs of the session. I'd rather be a buyer if it came back down to the 850 area than trying to chase it at 878 and hope it blasts through 9. Only one daily high here. I mean, this came down hard. I think it was off earnings. Daily highs are thin at 910 and then over 950 at 971. So supported it, see if it comes down. Maybe get a gap fill on this one when 1 week seller comes in.
All right, let's go to UBS double upgrade of First Citizen Bank shares, and I think this is interesting here. We got to take a look to see what happens with the banks, but UBS saying that we view the balance sheet more well positioned to handle the recession going forward, given the low loss nature of SIVB's loan portfolio, which should result in a higher quality earnings stream. This was
Which
written
stock
by
is
UBS.
this?
First Citizen.
Is it that high price one?
Yeah, that high price one. They're coming in with a double upgrade here. UBS.
FCNCA.
It's got too many letters in it. FCNCA.
Yeah. So this had the crazy gap, and it's still going, and it's $1,000 stock.
FCNCA. Once they have 5 letters in it, I don't even look at it. I have
Hands
to
off
type
on
too
it. I
many
don't know
tickers.
what the
As
hell
soon
to
as there's
do with
5
this.
letters in the
Yeah.
ticker symbol, I don't
Yeah,
know.
my biggest thing is it's pretty interesting. Pretty much UBS coming in here and putting it in a double upgrade. They had this as a sell, so they're putting this to a buy.
That might be the stupidest rating change I think I've ever seen on a stupid stock. I mean, come on.
It's just ridiculous here.
$1,000 stock? Where were you when it was at 600?
It was 600 a week ago.
You bring it from a sell to a buy here.
Chasing.
Oh my
definition
Lord.
of chasing.
That's as chase as can be, man.
That might be the
Chasing.
chase of the entire history of this
Preston, they don't like you too much here.
Jeez,
No, we're not a fan. We don't
not
like
a fan of that chase there.
Boo to this upgrade. Boo.
Yeah,
It's been up
we'll see.
$5, trading up 10 on odd lots. I ignore this because it's just too thin for me to trade.
Definitely. I don't think too many people are trading the $900 stock.
This is a thin one. It's widespread. It's thin. No, thank you. Move on. We're done with that one.
Definitely
What about Schwab?
push there.
Talk Schwab.
Let's do it. Well, we can take a look at Schwab. It's down there almost to $50 and
It's
just
below
keeps coming
$50
down.
here, Mitch. It's taken
Yeah.
out to 50
Oh,
here. We
man.
are perilously close to the lows. I know Kramer's been tooting its horn at 55, 54, 53, saying this eventually turns it around. It's not listening to Kramer right now because it continues to go down here. Obviously, we had the wash out of the move way down to 45, but as it continues to leak down to those lows, it's concerning. And the main thing that Schwab is concerning, it's one thing. You got SIVB, we got Signature Bank. A Charles Schwab is like a Lehman Brothers. In the size of it. It would be, as it continues to go lower, that's a major problem for the market. So we need Schwab to not make new lows. We need Schwab to hold that 45. For this market to turn around and make new highs and go back to the 420 and 430, and everybody's partying again in the biggest bull market that we've seen since 2020. For that to happen, Schwab needs to turn around. This will not happen if Schwab continues to leak. And as Schwab continues to leak, people start getting concerned. And a lot of people have a lot of money at Schwab.
Yeah, that's what I'm a little bit wondering. Do they know something that we don't? Because it seems like the company has come out countless times and said that they're fine. There's nothing wrong here, but that's not what the price action's telling us. And it's not what the price action's telling us. And is it just Schwab, right? Are they going after the other brokerages, right? Like IBR, right? Interactive Brokers isn't getting hit as hard, right? I mean, this is where it gets confusing of why they're just going after Schwab here.
Exactly. There, you see IBKR holding up very, very well here. There's certain stocks that have held up very well. I don't get why Schwab. I haven't looked into the books. I don't understand the difference here. Why Schwab is getting hit, but Goldman's held up pretty good. Morgan's, they're all leaked, but nothing to the tune of Schwab. Schwab, they've hit it a lot harder here. It's going to be a fabulous buy opportunity. Or it's not. I mean, and this is some stock market, right? So I just don't know why they're getting it. They're hitting it so hard, and that's why I'm just staying away.
All right, let's go to one more upgrade here, and we'll see if it gets actually moving here. You guys, I wanted to bring a famous one for us. Of course, none other than, you know it, Dennis. You know it. You could say it, my friend. What is that one? The Dutch Bros, of course, getting a bit of an upgrade today. Wedbush upgrading Dutch Bros to outperform, announcing $37 price target. And I could also bring in Starbucks with it because Starbucks has been ripping since their they had their
since they fired the person who's tried to start the union.
And the union thing, and they also had, of course, in front of, was it Congress or was it the Senate? The hearing that they did. Ever since then, that's done a huge turnaround from kind of 99 back up to 104.50s. So keeping an eye on these stocks to see if Starbucks can keep pushing higher. But it's been a monster move for Starbucks. Can it get back there maybe to the 110s?
I don't get the Starbucks, to be honest with you. I don't.
Why is it going higher?
Yeah. No, I don't get it at all. What's the P on Bros? Does it make money? Bros make money?
I think they were just slightly positive last time.
Is the coffee better?
Is the coffee better? No, it's the way that the business is run. I feel like it's better.
Why do you go to Bros instead of Starbucks?
Because why would you go there? It's just kind of like a drive-through. Easier drive-through, 2 lanes you can do like the Chick-fil-A ordering where you're like, you're having your employees out there taking the orders and they're just coming back around. It's just a drive-through. Think about it like just a drive-through. And
Mitch,
when did you do
your thing on Bros when you went there and you did a special on it? When was that?
That was a little while back. That was when I was still in Colorado, but I enjoyed it. I mean,
When was that? When was that?
It
wasn't in 23. It was sometime in 20. Was it in 21?
No, I think we were looking at this in actually 21. I don't even think it was in 22.
21?
Yeah,
Ooh.
I think this was in 21. And I remember I played this thing from like 46 to like 60. I didn't get that ride to 80, but
Good thing you didn't cut on the way down.
Exactly.
Wetbush, this 32 to 34 area looks kind of open. I mean, you can pick your poison. 33, 43. I think before you get to 34, I'll see what happens at 33.60 because 33.65, there's a pair of highs right there. Keep an eye on that. Starbucks, I'm not seeing much in Starbucks. This 105 and a half, 106 area, but that's still like a $1.50 away. So also with this Starbucks, you've taken back half of this move. So let's see, you can like stabilize, hold this 104 a couple bids, and then turn up and test that 106 area.
You hear it from our chat here, Khalib saying, I drive by Bros at 10 o'clock at night and it's packed like it's 10 o'clock in the morning.
Who drinks coffee at 10 o'clock at night?
You'd be surprised,
the bros
man.
People, man.
The bros, baby. The pros. The bros. I keep this by my desk every day, man. Come on. Gotta have the bros. All right, let's transition.
Let's do the ONON. It's downgraded here today.
Ooh.
That stock has been just the monster of all monsters.
Who was brave enough to downgrade that?
Yeah,
today?
look, it got downgraded today. I mean, here's a contrarian call for you,
Is that
Mr.
Baird?
Elconin. Let's go look. Who's downgrading this sucker today?
Yeah, I didn't even catch that one. So I think I have.
Yeah, here it is. On downgraded by Baird. Baird downgrades this thing to neutral. Announces $33 price target. I guess they hit their target. So here's a good call. Jonathan Kump ringing the register. You know what?
He's ringing the register.
Yeah, I like that. He made a good call. He was long. He was bullish the stock. Turn around, downgrade the thing when it gets up to your price target. That's the way it's supposed to be done. Take the profits and run. He must listen to pre-market prep. So as much as you know what? Other analyst, Jonathan Kump ringing the register. I like this guy.
Oh wow! You know who's been on this longer than Jonathan Kump?
Who's that?
Whatever. Michael Crockett.
Oh,
Are you here today, Michael? This guy has been asking me about this stock like in pre-market prep plus. I don't know, for every day for months.
Nice.
And it's just kind of like a slow mover, and I'm like, I give him. I'm like, this ain't, it needs to clear 22. And I don't know if he's run the register in it yet. But the downgrade here, I mean, you just look at yesterday's action. It's opening to yesterday's low. So if the street's just going to shrug this off, then I think, you catch a bid here. If not, Michael, you might get a look if the people decide to take some profits in here. There's no good support until 29.95, 29.86, and this is the shoe company.
Got to hold that 30.
You just got to hold that 30. I tell you, I saw those treads at the gym the other day.
Are they cool?
And they look pretty cool. They look light. I switched from the Nike. I got some Asics, but man, next time I need some.
Try the
treads.
on.
I might try them. Roger Federer started this.
Yeah,
company,
exactly,
right?
man. Oh, he's a big supporter. He's a big supporter.
How much is a pair of these on shoes?
I don't know. Let's find out.
I think very similar price. Very similar price.
No,
to
they're not $500.
70, 90, 110.
My last pair of runners is like $120. So
Nike
what kind did you get, Dennis?
I think it's Skechers. I think they're Skechers.
You paid $120 for Skechers?
Well,
man, Dennis gets ripped off at Skechers.
That's cheap. Yeah, that's a 90 you have.
Yeah, well, that's expensive. Canadian,
I like Skechers. I got some of those, man. I like them. They're good shoes too.
The Skechers are good.
You never wear shoes.
Dogg. You know that Snoop Dogg commercial? He's kicking back in the White House and Martha Stewart's asking, how do you do it, dog? It's like I got
Come
these
on, man.
Skechers,
You think
I
Snoop
got
Dogg
these
actually gets
Skechers,
caught
man.
dead in Skechers? Come on, man.
I
Come on,
go
Dennis.
buy them. I'd buy them just because of Snoop Dogg.
I'd buy them over
It
Crocs.
works. I love Snoop Dogg.
Well, I'll see Snoop
Doggy
Dogg
style.
I get to see Snoop Dogg in like a month or two at VCon.
Oh
I'll see
my
if he's
gosh,
wearing
I'm
the
so
Skechers.
jealous of you. Seriously, you got Snoop Dogg tickets?
Of course, man. Guys,
Holy.
check out Snoopy
Where
Dogg.
you going to see him at?
VCon, man, with Gary V. Of course. Come on. My man Chris Ketchy and I are going to be out there.
Catchy's going too? I wanted the invite for this one. You can get me to
Dennis,
the
you never
States on
go
this
anywhere. You're not going.
I don't know if you want to be around the NFT environment,
Little
but
gin and juice action, man. Can't beat it.
all right, let's transition. I got you guys. I'll reel us in a little bit. Let's take a look at General Motors. I don't know if you guys saw, but they're actually pulling ahead in the race to be a little bit of a
Number
distant
two.
second
Number two.
to Tesla, but passing Ford, right? Ford was number 2 last year. So they're able to pass Ford. They sold more than Hyundai and Kia and Volkswagen. So GM sold more than 20,000 EVs for the first quarter. What do you guys think about GM?
Ford and GM, I'm just kind of sitting here neutral on. If we go into a recession, it's going to be troublesome for them. So there's going to be a time to buy Ford and GM. I just feel like now is not that time.
I heard on Dennis. I heard on the radio on the way to the pool this morning that like they're selling cars. That the demand is up. There's a New York auto show going on right now. So I think the sales numbers are up so far. So I know,
but year over year they're down significantly. Can we get those numbers here,
I don't
Mitch?
know.
Just from
I
year
don't
over
know.
year, GM and Ford numbers were down. I mean, again, expectations in the gutter here, though. So that's one thing you've got to consider is that expectations, are pretty low for a lot of these companies here. I'm trying to look. GM on April the 3rd gave the number 603,000 units. Was up 17% from I don't know if that's from the previous quarter. Tracked about 50,000 EVs. I'm trying to just fly through it here. No, we just don't have the research done in time. But
yeah, okay.
Last time I looked, GM and Ford numbers were actually down year over year.
Why did I hear that? Well, what came out
Well,
yesterday?
they may be coming up lately. Like it depends how you compare, right?
Yeah,
quarter
it's
to
a
quarter,
comparable.
Okay, I thought
year.
okay. Man, those people were it's a Detroit radio station, right?
Oh, yeah, for
they're
sure,
gonna
the
make
D.
a
Yeah, Ford killing it, man.
Okay. I don't know what it's doing. It's only down 21 cents here in the pre-market. Not much is traded. Looks
No
like you got a
touch.
little bit of a roadblock here. It looks like you got a firm 36.75 sellers. So if you can knock them out, maybe get into the 37 handle, but looks like they've been there for 3 days and don't know if they're done selling there yet.
We'll see what happens with GM and, of course, the EV story. That's a longer one to kind of keep an eye out for. And remember, distant second to Tesla right now. Still far, far away, right?
Oh, yeah. But the competition is coming.
It's coming. It's coming. And that's for
Tesla's
sure.
not always going to have. What's their share of EV right now? Like 70% or something crazy?
Yeah, it's like 78.
It isn't going to be 78% forever, folks. It's going to eventually be falling down. The pie is going to get much bigger, but the Tesla share will get smaller.
And it's going to take a while, right? I think
but
also
props
that's
to
one
Musk.
thing.
He's done everything right, except this whole doggy thing on Twitter. That's all I think he's done wrong.
You don't like to see doggy coin on Twitter, man?
Doggy coin on Twitter.
The low of the day.
Do you look in the corner of your Twitter feed, Joel? And it's got the doggy coin thing in the corner of it.
You know what? I
bring it up here. Is it still there today?
Right
in the very little corner, there's the doggy coin there.
One thing to mention, though, if he has some Dogecoin, is he pumping it?
I don't. It's still there. I just
is that considered like
I
mean, it went up because it was on that little thing on Twitter. So who knows, right? I mean,
Twitter is so poorly run. It is.
Yeah, it's so badly run right now.
It's so badly run for that Q2 preview that we were doing. I'm like, hey, maybe do like a few tweets or something like that, whatever. I don't know, promote it or whatever. And so I checked into it, and they're like they came back with like some kind of like they actually came back with some convoluted answer that they couldn't take my money. And then they said
you're offering them money, they couldn't take it.
Yeah, they couldn't take it, and then they said they were going to get back to me. And they
So
still
you were
haven't.
trying to promote on Twitter, pay them to promote your
Yes.
thing, and they couldn't take your money.
Yeah, and then they
Musk,
told
are
me
you listening to this? Maybe some firing
it's
in
man.
store
That
for
thing
you.
is such a
Yeah, be
zero.
careful. You're gonna get
You're
that
gonna
whole
get
team
somebody
fired,
fired here.
Joel. The
What?
whole team just got
Our
fired.
team just got fired.
I don't think there's
Joel.
anybody left.
We didn't name any names, so you don't know who it
It's
was.
just like
Elon's just like, get rid of
get a
Elon's like,
bot
we
in
couldn't
there. or
take
something.
Joel's money. We need that money.
We need it.
We need that money.
Well, I'll take us to something else, team. I know it's been a fun show for sure. We're not holding back like always. You guys can drop in some
We don't
tickers.
usually hold back.
That's just what we do here. Let's go ahead.
We
Let's
didn't do
get
the Walmart. I keep talking.
Let's do
and
the
we never
Walmart.
Get it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Walmart conference
go ahead.
or
Let's do
something
it.
like that. They popped out. Oh, we give a little guidance here, and I kind of just snuck that in there. I was like, oh, it's not that good. Stock got hit, but bounced back.
I mean, it's a reiteration here.
Whoa.
Q1 adjusted EPS at $1.25 to $1.30. Estimate was at $1.30. Fiscal year 24 adjusted EPS $5.90 to $6.05 versus a $6.12 estimate. So they also said that by the end of fiscal year 26, the company believes roughly 65% of the stores will be serviced by automation. So that's interesting
for
there.
The little guy.
Yeah, no more stockers needed because it looks like the robots are going to be. Yeah, the robots, the AI.
Here we go.
Over,
They're taking our jobs, man.
They're taking
Skynet.
it, man.
Skynet is here.
There's one thing that I notice now is when I start going to Walmarts, they like almost force you to go to the self checkout.
Oh, they're everywhere, dude. You know what? And it's such a pain because if you buy a bunch of fruits and vegetables and everything, and the code's not on it. I mean,
they only have two registers open, maybe two registers open.
But you know what? I wonder how much theft there is, like with that.
Huge amount, Joel. That's actually a really good mention. It's huge amount. And it's something that they're trying to use AI for also, using like techniques to kind of catch people, sliding different things. People try like to put barcodes on top of barcodes, things like that. I mean,
and then sometimes all your stuff doesn't fit on there and it starts falling off, and then you got to call the lady over, and I don't know, spend a lot of time.
Yeah, and then if I get my beer through there, I got to show ID and then wait and stuff. Come on, man. No, but do you remember? I mean, you guys remember when we used to go to the store and there used to be like 30 registers. 30 different people working at those registers.
Now you go to McDonald's and you only have that self-service kiosk.
Exactly.
I was just at Wendy's. I was at Wendy's like 3 days ago, new Wendy's up here. And I was like doing Wendy's. I'm trying to type in the bloody thing. And I'm like tapping it. And it's not like, maybe I just don't have electricity in me or something. I'm getting old. So I'm like trying to tap the screen. I'm like tapping again and again and again and again. I'm like, I want this thing. I'm trying to tap it, man. And this Wendy's just opened a month ago. This thing's like brand new. No, not working at all. Finally, I throw in the towel. I'm like, this is taking me an hour to put in my order here. And I stand up at the one till, because they have one till. I stand up there, and I was probably faster. So they definitely don't have those things perfected.
Hey, Dennis,
go ahead.
I just want to say real quick, Dennis, I mean, you didn't give the old, if Walmart closes at 147.23 and it trades down to 144.29, and you're selling, you're doing it wrong. I mean, a $3 move in Walmart, that's like
a very big move.
That's a bit it's like a monthly.
They bought it back right away.
Yeah. But anyways, a pair of highs, just there's a 149 seller, 148.5, 149 sellers. So be aware of that. Really not much of a gap fill. So if you interpret this as bad news, then you really don't have, you can short. If you want to short now, you're right at yesterday's low and close, 147.02 and 147.23.
All right, last comment about what we were just talking about. I think it's really interesting how Amazon has done this in certain places, and I have gone through one or two of these where you go into the store and you don't need to scan everything. It just literally automatically reads it as you're walking out. The only thing you do is you walk up, you scan your card, right? So that you're like already has your payment information. Then you go inside, you grab whatever you need, and you just walk out.
That's awesome.
You just walk out.
Like, I want to be long. Whoever just created that.
Yeah, and I think that's the future right there. Amazon has this.
Think about how fast you'd be checking out. How awesome is that?
Yeah,
you just literally
Walmart,
show up
I
your
think
cart. This is
Walmart,
$273.
future is
Boom!
going to be like that, I think.
That's awesome.
Where you're going to go in, you're going to slide your card as you're walking inside the gates, and anything you grab inside those gates and walk out of the gate, it's going to charge you for it.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that could be the future there, just to kind of bring up something that Melton Down brought in the chat.
Like
Shout out to you in the chat there. Let's go ahead. Let's get to our TradeZero segment today. We're going to take a look at what stocks are moving out here.
Let's do it.
All right, team, let's get to the action. Let's take a look at what's moving out there right now. First thing that comes up to me is a gold stock AU. This is one that I had at 17, kicking myself for selling it a little bit early. Joel, you still with us?
Yeah, I got breaking news.
Oh, breaking news from Joel Elconin.
You got it, baby. You got
Plumber, baby.
Good old Levine and Sons. You know, sometimes when you're nice
was it somebody from the chat?
No, Levine and Sons is a place we called yesterday. You know, sometimes when you're nice to customer service, you get a lot different response.
I'm telling you,
I agree with that, Joel.
Yeah, what's that saying? You know, you get more bees with honey than you do with, I don't know what the back part of it is. But.
All right, let's go to the TradeZero segment. What do you got for me? What do you got?
I was taking a look at gold, AU, really nice move as of late. Gold has been really pushing strong here. What do you think about the gold trade overall? Can this just keep going, man? I mean, it's been a monster.
I've had this in my not Newmont. Oh, someone asked about that on PreMarket Prep Plus yesterday.
Yeah, NEM, nice little setup on that one.
I mean, gold, it's going to go up until it's going down. You know, one day you're going to come in and it's going to be down like $70. And
that's how it is.
That's the way. So it's hard, but this is breaking out, and I don't even like the new all-time high. What's the particular stock? AU. Yeah, I mean, it's bid. It's up at the pre-market high. I'm just going to give you a month. That's all I could do is give you 26.96, and that was a monthly high going back March of 22. That's the only thing I got.
We'll see what else is going on. It's just gold moves.
It is the best ticker symbol, though. Takes me right back to chemistry class, AU.
Yeah, that's why it gets me, Dennis. That's why it gets me right there. But and then you got MCK, of course, McKesson up today. Take an eye and look at that one. Also, I would look at Cigna Group. Of course, we heard about the Medicaid numbers and how that could maybe affect these. What do you think about those charts? Cigna, McKesson.
McKesson's on here?
Yeah.
Oh, really? It just ticked FINRA. That's just an odd. That was.
It's just an odd print there.
Trade, yeah.
I mean, clears 365. You know,
it's been moving. Healthcare. Yeah,
there's a lot of it there.
There's a lot of the healthcare stocks have been really turning it around here.
What about Cigna? Cigna Group.
That is up. I believe upgraded today. I thought I saw that go by. Maybe I made it up. I thought I saw it go by earlier. I see a lot of news go by, and then it's in my head. I thought I saw an upgrade.
Yeah, Raymond James upgraded the stock.
RJ. I mean,
from outperformed.
It tried to come back from the Medicare news that we had on Friday night and gave basically it back, and now it gets upgrades. So it goes right back up there again.
I like
it's the ugly downtrend in this one.
Yeah, there's some room. I mean, you got the pop, the pop's really not even much. You really just pop. They haven't even hit yesterday's high yet. So if this is upgrades for real, they're going to run with it. They'll go to take this to 261.82 and beyond. 2-day high, 264.35.
And Domino's Pizza showing up here. Nice little spike in Domino's today. What do you guys think? I know I'm not trading.
Just chilling too. Again, that's a FINRA print, just off exchange. But Domino's, what do you think of the chart here, Joel? We've come back. We're trying to fill that gap. Was that gap for earnings?
I think so. Yeah, an earnings move. I mean, you got a wall at 333. You get through that, and then you're getting into the gap. But until you can get above that 333, looks like path of least resistance is lower. You even backed off from there. You closed at 328.97. So I'll put that at 4-star level for now. Better get over that, or it's going back down.
Let's go to what's down.
All right, let's do it. Let's get to the action.
I'll let you guys get the down ones. I'll hop Triple D. I'm gonna call you at the top of the hour. Okay.
Well, this isn't good for me. ALB. I didn't even notice this one down $7. I'm long this thing in the long-term account. This thing's killing me. Horrible. Straight down
Yeah.
lithium play. Lithium is not hot right now. So
And, one of the things that I
what is
look
the
at
headline on this
often,
puppy?
I don't know if it's ALB related, but whenever I see Tesla start getting smacked, I
Downgraded.
always see these like kind of lithium names start getting smacked also. But yeah, downgrade here by
Bank
BOA.
America to underperform, which is sell.
To
Always picking
underperform.
on me, man.
And the
Yeah,
price
let's
target
pick it
right
on me.
here, this is where it's really kind of a change, 262 to 195. They were at 262, now 195. Yeah, that's going to be a big change, right?
Yeah,
They
well,
were
they just
looking.
followed the price here on it, so downgrading
They're
it
just
now, which
following
is
the
sell.
price there. So
So
we'll see if it
here's
can get
my
back here.
problem with it. Why didn't you not tell me to sell it? I wish I would have listened to you back at 260. Now
Yeah.
you're telling me to sell it. It's 201, and you're putting it 195. So you want me to sell it for the $6 loss, and I just lost 60 because you had the 261 price target on there? Boo to this analyst. Boo. Next.
Yeah, that's how it is sometimes. Of course, Steel Dynamics, that's a steel name going down today. We talked about those steel names, how they got hit hard yesterday. We'll look to see if that continues. Here's an interesting one turning around, Sony. Sony's been strong since kind of November, and this is kind of a seasonal play that I look at often for it to start
Tech's
turning
turned around,
around.
too.
So yeah, now it's starting to turn around here. I don't know if I'd be, looking for too much more on Sony after this recent
We've
run.
had a big run. Again, you've got to put it in perspective. Some of these stocks have just had pretty big runs here.
Yeah.
So I think if you were buying back to February and March, now you're buying a rip. I don't make a lot of money buying rips. Up $10 in a week and a half or 2 weeks. It's a big move, up 12%. So I'd wait for a pullback now. Just my opinion.
All right. And the last one, maybe CrowdStrike with these kind of cybersecurity plays. They have been just climbing. Can they continue to climb? And I'll also bring up, of course, PanW, the kind of leader there. That's also been climbing. Can
Where's
this
that
continue going?
PANW? PANW, wow, that has just been a monster. I guess it's still best of breed, and this thing is just not even far from all-time highs. Think about the market environment that we've been in for, nosebleed valuation, growthy tech names. And this stock is just not that. I mean, wow, what a comeback here. 130 to 196. Now, again, the trouble is it's run so far. So, I mean, yeah, if you like relative strength and you think the run's continue and you're that kind of trader, but we're just in this market where contrarian trading has worked so much better than momentum trading, and I'm a testament to that. I had a really good year last year. Why? Because I'm fading moves, and that was the year we were in. So I think that we continue to be in that environment where the fade trade continues to work. And, that's being shown here even the last couple of days. There's a lot of chop still ahead, hard to chase stocks.
We'll see what happens. And that's going to do it for our TradeZero segment today. Like always, you guys can check out the short locates that TradeZero has to offer, and also check out their Zero Pro program. Just threw up a link so that you guys can get those 3 months for free on that flagship software. Let's go ahead. We're going to start wrapping up the show here. Any outlook here? Dennis, you just expecting a little bit more chop action, or could you see maybe the tech
I think
trade
a lot of
turn
chop
around?
Yeah, no, I think we're going to have chop. I think there's people who are underweight tech that if tech pulls back enough, you're going to get some buys. I mean, Nvidia, I don't know if I want to come in on day one here, 250, if we check back, but it's just run so far. I mean, that's where we're at here at this point in time. Is the stocks have run way too far, I think. And I think we need to cool off. We need a cool period, cool off a little bit. Doesn't mean the bull market in tech is dead. I think tech still outperforms the overall market here going forward, because I think the overall market's going to get ugly. Meaning, I think some of the cyclicals, some of the weakness there could continue, especially, because those are a lot of the cyclicals have a lot of debt. Credit gets tighter, interest rates still kind of hanging out up here. That can be trouble. So, I mean, it's not just about the banks. Like, people just think, I don't need the banks. Who needs the banks? Well, I know that they lend. It's why the IWM is down so much. Some of the smaller companies are dependent on credit. So if these smaller banks are, in trouble, then all of a sudden credit gets tighter. So, I mean, until we start really turning it around, it's hard to get bullish. Tech's still the best place to be, though. I believe that as well. And I've been saying that. But I still just don't want to be long in the market.
We'll see what happens there. And definitely with the cyclicals, the high beta names, right? As you know, with the high beta names, they can go up fast, but they can also come down just as fast. Be careful out there. Like always, go do what you do best, Dennis. go get into your trading action. We'll see you a little bit later. You guys
Okay,
keep
see you
up with
guys.
everything Dennis does. All right, let's get you guys over. And I do want to apologize to the chat. I did, of course, see the comment there about Gordon Johnson. Looks like Gordon Johnson kind of canceled out on us today. We'll look to try to get him back on in the future. But like always, we're going to keep rolling here on Benzinga. You guys stick around. We got a lot more for you coming up. Of course, we got live trading coming up. We also got a great Benzinga live for you guys today. Stick around for that. That's going to start up at 11 a.m. So we got a great show for you guys here on Benzinga. You don't got to go anywhere. Hit the like button, and let's keep it moving right here on Benzinga.